Okay, cool. Very good, Susan. Listen, what are we going to do? We can't have dead air for 4 minutes.
Well, hey, I am excited about talking about how to build your $1 million marketing strategy on this lovely Valentine's Day. So everybody, thanks for joining us on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. I could tell you about snowboarding last week. That was awesome.
How was that? Yeah.
It was
Where
good.
exactly were you?
We stayed in Keystone. I disappeared for a second there. We stayed in Keystone. We rode at Copper Mountain for 3 days. And Susan, I have to show you this. This is a way back picture of me. This is my first, I think it's my kindergarten picture. And one of the guy, I'm this kid right here.
Oh my gosh. So
and one of the guys that was in Colorado with me is this kid right here.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
Buddy Andy McDonough. So there were seven of us. 5 of us have known each other since we were like 10 or 12 years old or younger. So
wow.
And yes, I shaved the beard after the Colorado trip and left this smart little mustache for a little while.
Beautiful, beautiful. Was it all the ice that was hanging off of it?
It was. It kind of, that pulls the hair and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't fun at all. So thanks for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm excited to have the opportunity to connect with you.
Listen,
have a great conversation about business development.
Yeah. And I don't take this lightly, right? So it's not like we just extend a whole bunch of invites, right? As we've gotten to know each other over the last year or whatever it is, you got a lot of value for the advisor community at large. You've worked with so many advisors that you can speak to. Everybody's a little different. I know the regulators want everybody to be the same, but everybody's different. And you can really speak to the ideal client experience where, a lot of people I talk to are like 55 to 65 with $500,000 in investable assets. And yeah, there's 700,000 advisors going after the same target. Let's differentiate a little bit. So this is a timely conversation because it's a really competitive environment.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
So get narrow on who it is that you're talking to and who it is that you're attracting to your practice, I think is one of the most important things you can do. And I think it's a catalyst to success.
It's a game changer. It's like once you're able to fine tune, really narrow your niche, but really fine tune where you're going, your vision at first and what it's going to take to get there and who you want to work with and who you want to serve, then you're in a position to get the other details together and think strategically about how to make it all happen.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll try not to interrupt you, but I got so much to talk about on this topic too, Susan. So, but I'll try to keep my mouth buttoned as much as possible.
Interrupt away.
Okay, very cool. So room is filling up. All right, Susan, look at this. Room is filling up. Candace, thanks for being here. Michael, Makaran, John, Joe. All right, Susan, we got some attendees showing up and appreciate everybody here taking a little time out of their Valentine's Day.
Absolutely.
This is the only red shirt I could find, incidentally. I know it's not bright red, but I went to my wife's closet, my closet, and both my daughter's closets.
You're getting creative.
We have a lot of black clothes in this house.
Okay.
I don't know what that says about us, but we have a lot of black clothing in our house. So
I love it.
Cool. Susan, so we are top of the hour.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So listen, I'm going to make a very informal introduction. All right. Yeah. So I met Susan. I think we've known each other about a year, maybe a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah.
And so Susan and I have been in deep conversations for about a year. Full disclosure, Susan's also a client of mine, of ours at Social Advisors. So we gotta go full disclosure there. In the conversations that we've had, and of course, there's a number of coaches in our industry, Susan. I coach a small set of advisors. It's not a primary part of my business, but certainly I do coach some advisors as well. There's a number of coaches in our industry. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think that the more coaches that are out there, because everybody's going to have a different style, the more coaches that are out there, the greater variety advisors have to find somebody that aligns with them, right? Every one of those coaches has value. Every one of the coaches in our industry are quality. They're good at what they do, some better than others, right? But I think the most important part of finding a coach that works for you as an advisor or for your advisory practice or business is aligning personalities. You've got to work with somebody that you know is going to push you. You don't have to like them necessarily, even. I've got a couple coaching clients that I don't think, I suppose they like me, but we're not chummy, right? But I provide value that they're not finding somewhere else. And Susan, you do that for the clients that you coach as well. And getting to know you, I think you're wonderful. More than that, I think that you've got a really focused strategy for advisors through your FAST program. And so thank you for being with me today. I know you've been coaching advisors for more than 20 years, former board member for the FPA, right? So our industry well. Your website tells me you've done over 12,000 coaching sessions, more than 1,000 advisors. So you bring wonderful experience to the industry. And thank you so much for joining me and for imparting a lot of your knowledge and strategy on our attendees today. So
It is my
with that,
pleasure.
and Susan,
Thank
with
you
that,
for
I'm going to
having
try to shut up. You know me well enough that that's a difficult thing for me. And if anybody here has any questions whatsoever, for some reason, chat is disabled. I'll see if I can get to the bottom of that, but we do have the Q&A box. So Susan, while you're chatting, I'll man the Q&A box. And if any questions come up, I'll pause you where it makes sense, and we'll get those questions answered.
Okay. Well, I think we're good to go. All right, cool. All right. Well, I'm excited about the opportunity to be here with you all today and, have the opportunity to share with Charlie about marketing strategies that really work as you're building out your $1 million marketing strategy. And Charlie just introduced me. And so I'll just say, I get so excited about empowering advisors in their success game. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And every day when I'm connecting with clients, whether it's, with a group coaching opportunity or one-on-one, my big why is really empowering people in their lives. And I've chosen to bring my work to the financial services world and support them with business development strategies. So that's a little bit about me. I also enjoy skiing in Tahoe locally in the wintertime. And we've got a new dog, relatively new. She's 2, but still got lots of puppy energy that we brought to the mix during COVID.
So Susan, favorite Tahoe resort?
Palisades used to be Squaw Valley.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, North Star I also like North Star. Nice family feel to North Star these days. So
I used to like
the back bulls.
Alpine Meadows. Now I used to go to Kirkwood a lot. When my kids were born, I was living in South Lake Tahoe. Then I had to get a Heavenly Pass just because it was close to home. All right, I digress. Go ahead, Susan.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, and I was a little jealous of your Colorado experience last week, but I saw your experience virtually. Okay, so a couple of things we're going to talk about is how to uniquely brand yourself to attract your ideal clients. How to choose your marketing channels that have prospects lining up ideally to work with you and ready to pay your fees. And ultimately, how to develop a $1 million marketing plan to reach your revenue goals. And, for some of you, you're already there, frankly. So it's $1 million and beyond. It's like, what's the next level for you? What's the big game you're playing? And what kind of a marketing strategy do we need in place to just support that and becoming your reality? So just in terms of results, just to share a story, one of my recent clients, a senior level advisor who participated in the FAST program with me, he attracted 40 million in AUM in 4 months. And he attributed this growth to fine tuning his ideal client profile and his client attraction message. Now, oftentimes for folks who are really seasoned, they feel like they have everything in place. However, for some people, they know there's room to sharpen the saw. They know there's room to fine tune that message. And that while they have, actual brilliance to bring to the table for their clients, and they know what they're offering and how to take care of their clients, there's room for fine tuning their marketing messaging and their ideal client profile. I like to call it your ultimate ideal client profile, so that, what this particular advisor did as an example is he was focused on working with executives and small business owners with over 5 million in assets, and then delegating slightly smaller clients to his junior advisors and his team. And during the program, we helped him fine tune his ideal client profile and marketing message, and also determine his delegation strategy in-house with his team, so that he was able to attract organically many more ideal clients, and see some pretty nice growth during that time period too.
It's like it.
And so in terms of your uniquely branded system, it's really the foundation for your $1 million marketing strategy and beyond. And in my FAST program, it's actually called the Financial Advisor Success Training, which I call FAST for short. We take a lot of time to craft your uniquely branded system. And your uniquely branded system, it really differentiates you as a specialized or high-end financial advisor, or wherever your niche is, okay? It brings a personalized experience to your prospects about your business. And the bottom line, it makes closing ideal clients much easier. So you might be wondering what's included in a uniquely branded system. And so here are the elements here. It's your ideal client profile. It's your area of specialization. It's like, what are your best clients asking for when they show up to your office? And how is it that you're, specifically qualified to deliver that and deliver it well? It's your client attraction message, as well as the menu of services. And it really, all of that together speaks to your target market's needs for your services, as well as clarifies the breadth of the services that you offer, and ultimately sets you up to address your fee structure and why you're worth it in your prospect meeting. So to uniquely brand yourself, you really want to know who your ideal client is. And as a first step in developing your branded system, I want you to imagine that ideal client for you, your ultimate ideal client. As a financial advisor, you're making a huge difference with people going through, what is, oftentimes, the ups and downs of life. They're seeing business growth for your business owners, and you're jumping in to support them with the next level and how that works financially. They might be, expanding their family, like some really awesome growth challenges that can occur along the way in their personal lives and in their business lives. And you want to be their quarterback or their person to support them, and creating the plan to support them and knowing how this is all going to work ultimately. So I invite you to bring an ideal client, or, the person you most enjoy serving, or the first few people that you most enjoy serving as your ideal client profiles. Bring those people to mind, and, take out a piece of paper and write down the descriptors of who that ideal client is. What is their net worth? Where do they live? If they're working, it's like, what industry are they in? What are they doing? And are there common denominators to those people you most enjoy serving? Do they contribute to a particular charity or support their alma mater? And I'll let you jump in, Charlie. Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So Jason asks, aren't most advisors seeking the same ideal client? You and I chatted about it before we hit the record button. There's almost 700,000 advisors in this country, right? There's I think it's 2020 number, 2021 FINRA's number of Series 7 is 612,000. If you put the IARs on top of that, you're looking at about 670,000 licensed professionals. Now, of course, not everybody's practicing, but that's a lot of people.
A lot of people. Yes.
Yeah. When I ask over the last 25 years, I've asked the question thousands of times, who do you want to work with? Anyone with money, fog of mirror, these, kind of cliches come up, right? But the reality is you've got to get more narrow than say that, that 55 to 65-year-old, $500,000 in assets. You've got to get more narrow to remove some of the competition. So,
and that's a great question. And I oftentimes get that question. And what I'd say is actually, after working with many advisors at this point, what I can tell you is you're not, surprisingly, all looking to serve the same client. I've worked with people who truly serve the high net worth, and, they work with folks that have 40 million in AUM and beyond. I work with people who are focused on those with 5 million in AUM and beyond. And we don't just look at the money, because from there we look at, those other aspects that make up who they are. It's like, what are they doing for a living? Are they in business? Are they, are they executives? Are they retired? It's like, what are they doing? And, what have they spent their life doing, and what are their common denominators? And then there are plenty of people whose ideal client have 1 million in AUM, or 500,000 or 250,000. So even on the financial scale, believe it or not, you're not all looking for the same person, which can create a really awesome opportunity to be referral sources for each other. If there's a client level that you don't have the bandwidth to serve in your practice or with your team, however, another advisor that's well set up to win for those clients, you can cross refer. They can refer you clients that are a little smaller than what they serve, that are perfect for you. You can refer them clients that are larger than what you can handle. And oftentimes, personality can come into it, as Charlie said, as well. Some clients are looking for an advisor who is a gentleman. Others are wanting to work with a woman. There are different factors that people are wanting in terms of their advisor. There's not always the gender request, and on occasion there is. So actually, there are a lot of differences in what people look for in their advisor, and also with who the ultimate ideal client actually might be. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, Charlie?
I think we can talk a lot about demographic, but I'm always looking, when we're working with advisors, we're always looking for, someone who's relatable to, right? You and I both enjoy skiing, now it might feel a little more psychographic maybe, and maybe a little more touchy feely, if you will, but I'm looking for, people who I can relate to. It's not just about assets. But if you're going to have a personal relationship, and of course, there's not a lot of relationships much more personal than, overseeing their financial well-being, being able to relate on levels other than just the assets they have or the company they work for, or, whatever the case may be in the demographic. I'm looking for a personal connection there too.
You got it. And that reminds me of a client, which would be a good example of this. He loved riding Harleys. And he didn't just have one Harley, he had 4 Harleys. Okay. And guess where he was during the weekend? He was out riding Harleys. And guess who else is out riding motorcycles on the weekend? Oftentimes, very successful people have Harleys and other bikes, and they're out riding. And who are they? They're business professionals, many of them. And so he actually built out a marketing plan that included his love of riding. And so he was riding already on the weekends, but we worked together to support his communication strategy with these folks, so that this was his marketing plan. Every weekend he was out generating new clients, doing exactly what he loved and they loved. So it was a perfect opportunity to connect personally first, and then figure it out if he could bring value with regard to his services.
Susan, perfect example. I am near Daytona Beach. So a couple of weeks from now, Bike Week will start. I'll say, thankfully, I'll be in Wisconsin for some of that time. because I live on Atlantic Avenue, which means I will have hundreds of thousands of motorcycles rolling by my house for 10
Oh my
days. Now,
gosh.
it's annoying to live here, but the amount of money that goes into that hobby, right? And there, you look at the branding around that. There's 2 or 3 attorneys who are prominent attorneys in this area that cater to motorcycle riders, right? That have positioned themselves through billboards and sponsorship and things along those lines as the attorneys, personal injury attorneys for motorcycle riders. Advisors can do the same thing. Frankly, it makes it easy to find the people you want to talk to. So anyway,
Yeah.
Jason, great question. If we answered it, wonderful. If you want to follow up on there, just let me know. And anybody else, if you have a question, just put it in the Q&A. I'll get to it.
Yeah, definitely. And, just keep us posted on the questions. But to get a little more specific, as you're talking about here, Charlie, it's like, you can look at the professional industry they're in, their network, net worth, where they live, family sizes, if they're family oriented. I've seen people focus on family. I've seen people focus on, they're really working with people in their church or in their personal community in different ways, working with, people in the charities that, oftentimes they're on the boards for, or they're contributing to, and that way they have those passions in common for those charities, and other demographics. But these are just a few to kind of get your mind thinking about where you might be able to connect with people who you most want to serve. Anything else to add to that, Charlie?
Love it, Susan. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah.
All right. And so, next what you want to do is you really want to clarify your area of expertise or specialization. Oftentimes advisors will say, for instance, they're offering comprehensive financial services, and your ideal prospects might not know exactly what that means, for instance. And so you want to be highlighting your area of expertise and who you serve and what all that means for you. And, just a few ideas, oftentimes with the comprehensive financial services, those of us, in the industry, we know exactly what that means, and, how you soup to nuts from creating financial plans and providing a wide array of services and products to support your clients' goals. Like, we're aware of that. However, your prospects may or may not know all that you bring to the table in that capacity. And so if you lead with what your top clients are looking for, or tell you that they're looking for, when they show up to meet with you, whether it's wealth management, whether it's investment management, retirement planning, or employee benefits for business owners. I mean, whatever you notice, once you do a little due diligence to kind of dig in and see, what are my favorite clients or my best clients that I really want to replicate? What are they wanting? Then that can support your marketing message strategy from there. So anything else you'd add to the mix there, Charlie?
No, well, sure. We talked about the competition within the industry. So it is get narrow, right? Get narrow on who it is that you're prospecting, because that helps eliminate a lot of that competition. It also helps you refine the messaging, which is what you're talking about, right? It helps you speak the language. Maybe it's somebody who is still, is close to retirement with a pension from, a public company or a state employee or something like that. You can speak to the specifics of a pension. We had a client at one point some years ago who was prospecting physicians at Kaiser Permanente Hospital. That's very narrow. Well, they've got a KEO plan. Don't ask me to tell you what that is, a KEO plan, but that's a portion of the retirement plan, which was unique to Kaiser Permanente. So when that particular advisor was talking to physicians at Kaiser Permanente, they were speaking the exact language for those people. It wasn't a generalized conversation. So again, just refining your targeting, refining your messaging helps you eliminate a lot of the competition that's inherently in the industry.
Perfect. Yeah. And what I'd also like to say is, when you're looking at these pieces, your ideal client profile, your target market, your area specialization, when you're looking at refining your brand, what I invite you to think about is you are refining your brand for the future of your business, for the attraction of the ideal clients that you want to bring in from now until you decide to retire. And so with that, it's highly valuable to look at who you're already serving, and take stock, with regard to all the details of the clients that you're serving, and also tune into, what's your vision from here until, you turn the keys over, so to speak, to your Ferrari that you've built. And you might want to refine your marketing message and your brand and your unique brand strategy for a more refined attraction process of those clients. And, oftentimes I'll have people say, well, what if not everybody I'm serving right now is, who I want to be attracting next? And I say that is completely fine. There's a conversation that you can have with the clients that you love and you want to keep, to just share, hey, I've realized that, with these clients, maybe it's like, let's just say executives, for instance, executives at Google. Okay. I've noticed that, I have exactly the strategy in place and the knowledge base for what they're needing and what they're requesting of me, which is related to their retirement planning and succession plan. And I'm able to serve them, really effectively and efficiently and all of that. And what I want you to know is I have always enjoyed working with you, and I'm committed to continuing to serve you in the way that I always have. However, if you know of any Google executives, those would be great referrals for me. So you want to solidify the existing relationship, and you want to let them know, who would be a great referral for you. And Google comes to mind because I hail from the San Francisco Bay Area, and Google is in my neck of the woods. So that was one of the companies that popped up.
Susan, question for you from our guest, John. For someone getting started and might not have clients to ask what they want, what do you suggest?
For clients getting started and don't have,
for someone getting started who doesn't have the AUM base or the client base just yet, so they really don't have their client base to ask exactly what's important to them. Where should they get started in understanding what's important to the audience that they're targeting?
Perfect question. So, first of all, the question is, do you know who you want to serve? Sometimes in the very beginning of your career, there are folks that I've worked with who know I want to target, I want to work with doctors. I've had very young advisors get an office right next to a hospital, or even in a hospital, on one occasion. And we were able to create the messaging, the strategy, and everything to support his vision of working with doctors. For others that are just starting out who I've worked with, they don't know, they haven't worked with enough people to know who they really want to serve ultimately. And so what we do is we look at, who they think as a starting point they might enjoy serving. And in the beginning, if you don't know, you can go a little broader. And there are some different ways you can go with your branding too. One is really narrow with the target market. I want to work with doctors who work for Kaiser, right? Very narrow, right? And then there's another way to go. If you don't know and you're not ready to narrow the focus just yet, it's, lead with what you're specializing in delivering. Do you know that you want to offer financial planning, for instance? You're passionate about financial planning. You see the value of setting up financial plans. You might know you want to focus on business owners as a group, which is pretty broad, but more narrow than everybody. Or you may just want to focus on, who's ever in your community right now, depending upon the numbers in your community, based on your experience as a human being, who you enjoy being around. If you have an idea of who you might want to serve, you can look at focusing more or less there. But lead, if you don't know, with what you want to provide as a starting point. And it could be a little more broad. So it could be, for instance, financial planning services for business professionals, which could include business owners. It could include anybody working for a business at all, right? Anybody employed. So there's ways to go a little broader. And then over time in your career, when you start having clients and you notice a feeling either before or after you meet with them, like, oh, I'm glad I get to meet with this person, or that was such a great meeting. I really enjoyed serving this individual and really setting them up to win in whatever capacity you're doing that, whether it's with their initial financial plan, whether it's retirement planning, for the long term, whatever it is, but give yourself some space if you're in the beginning of your career to figure it out. And then you can narrow the niche as you go.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
I like it. John had also asked about using Harley riders, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you find the demographics for those folks? I answered it offline, just, but my recommendation is between Facebook and LinkedIn groups. You're going to find a lot of people, even just by doing a keyword search on LinkedIn for motorcycles or Harley, or you're going to find a lot of people in their professional profiles list those hobbies as well. But local events, come on down to Bike Week, John. You're going to meet plenty of them, about 500,000 riders over 10 days. Local events, all of your advertising, social media, website, all of it's got to reflect the targeting on that particular group as well. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. And just to give you an idea too, of how you can communicate it when you get your slogan together and your slogan is your target market and your area of expertise combined. And it's not a 30-second commercial. That's much longer. This is more like a 5-second intro to see if the person you're talking with has any interest in what you do, basically. And, for instance, wealth management for high-tech CEOs, investment management for entrepreneurial women, retirement planning for Google employees. You get the idea. So you can start more narrow or a little more broad. And, and again, if you're at the beginning of your career, take the pressure off, just take one step at a time and you'll get there and it'll make more sense. And that's what I would tell you. Okay. Anything to add there, Charlie?
No, because Susan, I'm answering questions on the fly.
Okay. Okay.
So you go ahead.
What I want to say to you though, is like having a slogan can be a game changer in your daily marketing activities. You can find opportunities for potential clients that you didn't even know. I used to have an office in a building where there were a lot of financial advisors. Okay. And I would get into the elevator in the lobby. I was only on the 3rd floor. And instantly I would connect with people and say, hey, how are you doing? Good morning. What do you do? And, frequently they were in financial services. And I would tell them, hey, I'm a business development coach for financial services. Should we talk? And so typically by the time I got to the 3rd floor, I might have a prospect. And if I decided to skip the 3rd floor, let's exchange contact information or business cards, then hop out of the elevator and we both book an appointment. So it can be that easy to get the conversation started. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And in the FAST program, we go through the whole process that gets you to create a slogan that really resonates with your ideal prospects. And that's the point, to get the conversation started. And then next, you're going to want to express why you're the best choice for your future clients. Okay. And that'll include your background, your experience, your understanding of their market and their needs, And so all of that brought together with a confident conversation can lead you to the conversation, your discovery conversation, your prospect meeting, where you have the opportunity to onboard those folks that are a good fit for you. So that's the point of that. And one thing I would say is nobody does all of this exactly how you do it. Nobody delivers your services exactly how you do it. And just like somebody asked in the beginning, hey, aren't we all looking to serve the same people? The answer is no. And many times I hear, aren't we all delivering the same thing? And the answer is actually no. Some of you have an expertise, some of you have masters in finance. Some of you have a master in business that you bring to the table, with your financial, credentials as well, that support you in working with business owners. Some of you have an accounting background. There's all kinds of backgrounds. And even if you're just starting out and you have, a credential that supports you with your area of expertise, it's perfect for the people out there that you're perfectly set up to serve. So with the branded system, you really want to take the time out to see how you stand out, who you want to serve, and exactly how you're going to support your ideal clients in achieving the goals that they're looking to achieve with your support. And bottom line is, to be $1 million advisor, you can begin to see how this uniquely branded system will set you apart. Because one of the things it'll give you is that each time you meet with a prospect, you have a system in place to communicate your message and how it is to work with you and who you serve and who you want to onboard. Without a system in place, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, you're reinventing the wheel, which takes a whole lot more energy ongoingly. Even if you're really good at it, you're just continuing to reinvent the conversation in terms of that wheel again and again until you have something in place. And given us human beings, some of us are visual creatures, some of us are more auditory, some of us are more kinesthetic, what that allows for is, if you're meeting on Zoom, you can show your system on the screen so that they have the visual, as well as walking them through it, with your voice. And if you're in person, you can hand them your uniquely branded system for them to hold while you're walking them through it. And it just supports the ease of the conversation. And then they can ask their questions, you can respond, and then you're right back on track and you know where you left off. Just supports it being all easier.
Susan, we got some great interaction.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of hitting a lot of it as we go, because I know we're gonna run out of time. So
yeah.
A question that I want to get your take on, because I get this question a lot, is, let's say someone's managing 50 households already, right? And they really want to get narrow on who it is they prospect, because they understand the value of cutting out the competition, speaking directly to that audience that they're trying to attract. What do you say to advisors that have a fear of when they change their messaging to focus on employees of a certain company or a certain industry? There's a fear there that they're going to alienate their existing client base. How do you tackle that issue when there's this existing client base who visits their website and all of a sudden they go from being a general practitioner, if you will, to focusing really closely on dentists, but this client's not a dentist?
Yeah, it's a perfect question. And that comes up time and time again during this conversation.
Same here. Yeah.
And so, when you're ready to narrow your focus, again, it's for the future of the business, for the next set of ideal clients that you want to attract. And so what you want to make sure you do in the conversation is solidify the relationship with those clients that you definitely want to keep by sharing with them the backstory. For instance, the Harley guy, right? It's like, okay, so because I've shared with you and you've seen all of these pictures on my wall of me with my 4 Harleys, and my love and passion for the sport, that, what I've seen is this is a great way for me to meet other people that I can serve. And so for marketing purposes, this is why I am sharing my message and my brand in this way. What I want you to know, though, is that I will continue to serve you in the way that I always have. And I'm definitely committed to being your financial advisor. And I really, enjoy our relationship. You want to solidify their brain, have them feel at ease, and let them know you're sticking with them. And for marketing purposes, you're going in this new direction. So I hope that helps.
Great answer.
Because also one more thing, you're talking about, somebody with 50 clients, let's say your goal is 100 clients, right? And you've got 50. So there's only 50 spots left. And today, when you have 50 and there are 50 spots left, it feels like a lot of spots that are left, right? Okay. Or it can. However, there's 50 spots left. And if really the people that you want to serve are people that you can hang out with every weekend and you like that idea, then that type of a brand, can work for you, or direction. And I've worked with golf enthusiasts. I've worked with, you name it, there are so many different ways that you can narrow the niche, and it doesn't have to be on a hobby. Okay. But the bottom line is you just want to share with the clients that you want to keep that the backstory, why you're heading in this new direction. And, for clients that you're looking for an opportunity to let them go or move on to work with a different advisor that you think would be a great fit for them, this could be your opportunity, to say, hey, I'm really focused on this market now. And I know that Joe or Mary, they are perfectly set up to serve you in these ways. And it could be a great way to support your referral sources too. So you don't have to let go of any clients. I'm not saying that, but if you want to, this is an opportunity. And if you want to keep them, you just want to make sure you have your communication strategy in place. You don't want to roll things out until you're ready. That's the bottom line.
Great answer. And being prepared and planned for it. Great answer.
Yeah. Okay. And so from there, actually, Charlie, how much time do we have?
We've got 22 minutes to the top of the hour. Now I've got 30 minutes after the top of the hour before my next call, Susan. So as far as I'm concerned,
so we're good. Okay.
Keep rocking. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. So, once you get your marketing, your branding and marketing strategy in place, the next thing to look at is how to get in front of choosing, your ideal prospects by choosing your marketing channels. And your marketing channels, those are those avenues through which you'll attract your ideal clients. Okay. They're the marketing channels that you're going to use can vary. And in the FAST program, we cover over 20 marketing channels. However, there are typically 5 or 6 that are the ones that you want to start with before, expanding from there. And so today I'm going to talk about the ones that I see that reliably work with folks. And the top 5 channels that I recommend, especially if you're seasoned in the business, or even if you're newer in the business, these can be the channels where you want to focus and making connections and just starting to build it out. It's client referrals. If you're day one in your business, clearly that's not a great place to start just yet, but don't worry, it will be in time. Professional referrals, your CPAs, your allied professionals, mortgage professionals. It could be anybody who also serves your ideal client. Okay. I worked with an advisor in Southern California, and he focused on serving women going through a divorce. And guess who one of his best strategic partners was? Professional referral sources, hairdressers. Because oftentimes, when people are getting their hair done, they're relaxed and they're thinking they're speaking into a cone of silence. This person isn't going to share anything. And so, they wind up sharing some information that can be pretty personal. So this advisor wound up bringing his brochures to the hairdresser that he also used too, and would bring, Danishes and all kinds of things to support her with having the conversations and introducing him. So that one worked out real well. So really anyone who's also serving your ideal client, right? Networking events can be really great too. Speaking opportunities like we're doing today, get in front of people who would be your ideal clients or, would benefit from what you have to bring to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Other marketing channels, could go to direct mail to support everything, right? PR, sponsorships, displays, advertising. Oftentimes those you want to add those on once you grow to a certain level and you're ready for that next level of growth. So I would say the number one marketing channel for experienced advisors are the client referrals. There's just a lot of room to speak with your top clients that you truly enjoy serving, who are, your best clients in every way, from your enjoyment of serving them and, how you prosper financially as you serve them. Then, you want to have in place your brand messages, your uniquely branded system, so that you can effectively communicate to them concisely all the ways that you serve your clients. Because sometimes for one of your top clients, they're getting a subset, or they have a need for a subset of what you offer versus the whole enchilada, so to speak. And so anyway, step one, client referral channel can be a great channel. From there, yeah.
I was going to say, and I go against the grain a little bit on client referrals. I love client referrals, but I want them unsolicited, right? Most advisors, Susan, are really bad at asking for referrals. It's an awkward conversation on both sides. However, if you do a little bit of homework and you know who your clients spend their time with, asking for introductions is really natural. And instead of putting them on the spot for who to refer to you, you're getting very specific about who it is that you want to meet. Doesn't have to be a business conversation, just an introduction. But so where I would, add my 2 cents worth there is I love asking for introductions versus asking for referrals.
Well, and yes, I would absolutely concur. And that's how I suggest people ask for referrals, actually,
Awesome.
is asking for introductions. So we're absolutely on the same page there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. And then in terms of your professional referral network too, you want to focus on building that out. And when you are aware of your niche, or your refined niche, your brand, and who you truly want to serve and what you specialize in serving, having a communication strategy to share with these folks is critical too. Because guess what? They might have a lot of people trying to connect with them and tell them, about their services. And the more refined you can be with your message, the more easily your name or your area specialization will stick with them when they're in need of referring a client to you. So this is an area that I invite you to build out too, whether you have it in place or you're new and you're looking for people. If you're newer, what I find is, people who are a little hungrier tend to be a little more effective, and definitely entrepreneurial is a good attribute, what you want with your professional referral sources. Folks who are really willing to provide you with referrals oftentimes are looking to grow themselves too, and they want to create a win-win relationship. So I invite you to bring that win-win conversation as you're getting to know them, so that you can kind of build out how you can best support each other so that it can be a win-win. Okay.
Susan, we got a question from our guest, Susan, who gives referrals to other professionals. And I think probably the traditional CPA, estate attorney, right? Other attorneys. And, there's lots, as we've talked about, that certainly that can fit that referral resource, but she's not getting anything in return. What do we do there? How do we improve results?
I hear this all the time. Okay.
Me too.
And so a couple of things. There's something you can do. There's the good news. A few things you can do, actually. So number one, you want to be sure and, have a conversation about your brand message and who specifically you serve, how you stand out, and why you're the solution. And for people who you've been referring to for a while, I think it's okay to have kind of a bold conversation with them. And I would invite you to do this. And you can do it in a direct, respectful way. Be professional, absolutely. And you can thank them. I call it the sandwich effect in terms of communication. You start with something positive that's authentic. thank them for being a great resource for your clients. You love the fact that you can refer your clients to them and you know that they're taken care of. No, so you appreciate that. Number two, you talk about whatever you need to talk about. So number two would be, I've referred quite a few clients to you over the years. And, I'm looking for referral partners where we can have a win-win referral relationship. And then you could just say, you could say a couple things. You could say, what would it take for you to refer clients to me? You can also say, is there, start with that question, because they could go a couple ways. Sometimes they'll say, I just need to really understand a little more effectively how you stand out. For others, they might say, you know what, I get all my referrals from financial advisors, so I really am not in a position to refer. I can be a resource for you, if they'll be that authentic. And other times they just need to know it's like how you stand out and who you best serve. So it can be helpful if you give some stories as to who you served, what they were working with when they first came into your office and how you helped them along the path, so that allied professional, whether it's a CPA or estate planning attorney or whoever, can see how you can work together. And then, kind of in a close, you can, although you want to keep that conversation going as long as possible, you could say, I'd really love to see how, we can have a cross referral, partnership, and then ask them, are you open to that? Because you want to know, some people are not entrepreneurial and are not comfortable referring, bottom line. You want to know if you're sending all your great clients to somebody who's never going to be comfortable referring to you, so that you can pivot and meet other people to see if you might have a better relationship. Other times, I had one client, and we worked through this. She had an estate planning attorney he was fabulous in her eyes. And he had given her a couple of referrals, but she wanted more at the time. And so she had this conversation with him, and he said, you know what, you're the only one I actually refer to. Just keep your name in front of me. And so we created a strategy to do just that. And he loved coffee. Okay, coffee enthusiast. So she had a really nice coffee warmer mug made with all of her name and slogan details on it for his desk. She sent him coffee once a month, a pound. Thank you so much in advance for your partnership and serving your clients and referring to me, and stayed in touch consistently with him. And guess what? He sent her a lot more referrals. So before you take somebody off your list, you really want to see if there's room to enhance what's already happening there. And there's a lot of different conversations that you can have to walk through whether or not you can enhance the game there.
Yeah, but you bring up an important point. A lot of people don't refer. So if you're referring to somebody and they're not sending anything back, the first question is, do you refer? No, I don't. Okay, cool. End of story. You don't have to go further with that. Now it's time to find more relationships. And typically what we recommend is pick your top 10 clients. If you don't already know their attorneys or their CPA, get to know those people, right? They're already working with a mutual client, so they can vouch for, if the person asks, they can, certainly vouch for the work that you do. Get to know the professionals in your top clients' lives.
Absolutely. And one step beyond that, I would invite you, in your client intake information, ask all of your clients who else they're working with, who is their CPA, their estate planning attorney, their, banker, who, anyone else they want you to know, who is related to their finances, right? Or their financial world, so that you have the details. And then, and that's the easiest place to start in building out your professional network, is with your clients and your top clients from there. Because if your top clients are already your ideal clients, those other professionals that are serving them most likely have other people they're serving that would be great clients for you. So that's the easiest place to start, because then you can get permission from your clients to reach out to their CPA, their other allied professionals, you know, in support of just knowing them potentially as a resource for your other clients, and also to support the relationship with the client. And one of the things that you can do is, given you're sharing, you have a client in common, is you could talk about each of your best practices so that, you know, you're aware of how you both serve the clients. And then that's a really great way to build out a relationship at that point.
Yeah, love it.
Okay. So the next marketing channel that we want to talk about is social media. And, you know, LinkedIn, when I first started, okay, for full disclosure, when it first came around, I was kind of hoping social media was going to go away. I just, you know, it just wasn't my hot spot, right? Okay. And so now, as of December, we have 875 million users on LinkedIn. Okay, it's going nowhere, right? It's just ramping up and gaining momentum. And, you know, your top clients might be on LinkedIn, you know, if they're business professionals at all. And there are plenty of people who are not even business professionals on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has become kind of a go-to network. Like, you know, the website used to be our credibility factor, visibility and credibility, and it still is. However, oftentimes when we're referred to people, we might check out their LinkedIn profile and get to know them. It's also a great way when you're meeting people, networking, or in the other channels, to look on LinkedIn, learn a little bit more about them, connect with them on LinkedIn, and start the conversation on LinkedIn, and then ultimately take it off LinkedIn to a phone call, and, you know, the old-fashioned conversation from there. However, this clearly is Charlie's brilliance. So Charlie, what do you want to share with us from here?
You know, I think what people don't understand is the content marketing opportunity on LinkedIn. So here's some real numbers for you. In North America, and this is approximate, of course, in North America, there's approximately 3 billion views of content every single week. It's 12 billion a month. Billion. And LinkedIn's got a search functionality. So you can see of everybody, say in North America, Canada, US, Mexico. You can look at how many profiles are in that area, and then how many profiles have shared content in the last 30 days. 2% of the network on LinkedIn shares content consistently. And because you're all in such a heavily regulated industry, most of you share terrible content. The regulators want it that way. It's easy to police you that way, right? So if you've got any talent for telling a client story, of course, you've got to do that within the parameters of compliance. But if you're sharing content consistently on LinkedIn, you are one of the 2% that are gobbling up those 3 billion views every single week. So the content marketing opportunity on LinkedIn cannot be understated. It is really a really huge opportunity for when you connect with that executive or that business owner or that doctor at Kaiser Permanente. Get your content out there, because it's a really easy passive way. You don't have to call them with a sales call. You don't have to be in their face and aggressive. It's a passive way to keep your brand and your value present in their life. So content marketing on LinkedIn is you know, really, really important. The other thing, and Susan, I don't know if you want to give me host real quick. I set up a couple of I did the work before we got started. So I've got a couple of searches on Sales Navigator done. If you're not using Sales Navigator, you're missing a huge opportunity. I love, of course, the downloading a list of prospects on Zoom Info, but all that does for you is give you their contact information, right? LinkedIn gives you, and let me share screen real quick, and I'll hand you host back here in a second.
Okay.
So LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to find the demographic that you want to be in front of, and also create some relationships there. So I did a couple of quick searches just to show you the power. And this is Sales Navigator. Now, Sales Navigator is a query tool. Of those 875 million profiles, this allows you to find the people that fit that demographic that you want to talk to. So I just did a quick search in Chicago. You know, this is like a 401k plan sponsor type search, human resource director, controller, chief financial officer, businesses with more than 10 people. We could put all kinds of other criteria in here, like how long the business has been around. Here are 16,000 people that, if they're not their plan sponsor, certainly are able to get you to the plan sponsor in Chicago alone. Here's a search. Okay, this is Atlanta. If you want to search a certain company, like I was talking about our client with Kaiser Permanente, this is Atlanta, the Coca-Cola company. We're looking for only titles with senior director or VP, so we've got some experience there. 3,000 profiles of people to be talking to. Now, this isn't just big city, right? So here's a search in Des Moines, Iowa. Business owners are founders with people between 10 and 200 employees. 3,500 profiles in Des Moines, in small Des Moines, Iowa. Not too small, but this certainly isn't just major metropolitan. The other thing I want to do is I'll open one more tab here. We talked about asking for introductions versus asking for referrals. And things are moving slowly. Of course they are, Susan. Of course they're moving slowly. So I'm not going to bother with that because I don't want to spend more time. But what I was going to show you is, get back to Zoom here. And I will I'll hand this back over to you. But what I was going to show you, I was going to pull up my friend, Nancy Kiefer, who runs our local Chamber of Commerce here in Volusia County, right? Nancy's connected to 3,000 people in Volusia County. A lot of those are executives or business owners. Nancy's a good friend of mine. He's sitting on the board of the chamber. And so you can see who Nancy's connected to. So now you know who to ask for the introduction to. So Sales Navigator is a really great tool. So Susan, was I sharing my screen there, Susan? For a second there, was that screen being shared?
No.
You're kidding. All right, give me a second. I'm going to rip through this real quick. Gosh, here I am talking and not even sharing my screen. So it wasn't acting normal. Now I'm sharing my screen. How funny is that? Visual aids are important. This thing is, it's acting funny. That's my problem. So here's that Chicago area search, right? I've typed in criteria for the number of people at a business, the titles I'm looking for, 16,000 profiles that fit a plan sponsor, or at least the person that, they can get you to the plan sponsor. I am having a little issue here, Susan, with, there's you guys can't see it. It's a pane that is actually covering my tabs. So I can't even see them. So give me a second.
We can see them.
There we go. Yeah, okay. There's like a video pane that pops up there that's covering things. So here's that search that I was talking about in Atlanta with Coca-Cola Company, right? Seniors, directors, or VPs. There's 3,000 people that you should know, that you should add to your network so that when you do your content marketing, they're seeing your brand over and over and over. Your content is going to, of course, talk about the great value you provide to Coca-Cola employees, right? That's going to resonate with them. Here's that search in Des Moines, right? Companies between 10 and 200 people, owners and founders, 3,500 profiles of business owners that you should be talking to in Des Moines, Iowa, if you're focused on business owners in Des Moines, Iowa. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator is such an awesome tool for finding that niche that you're looking to talk to. Grow your network every single day. Like honestly, every day. Take 10 minutes, send 20 invites. You're going to get 5 new connections every day. And if you're doing any content marketing whatsoever, that's really significant. Make sure your content speaks directly to the audience. Now, look at this, connections of my friend Nancy Kiefer that I was talking about, thinking I was showing you something when I was talking about her, but here's 999 results for people that my friend Nancy Kiefer's connected to. Well, of course, I'm in Volusia County, so let's type in Volusia County, right? That's going to narrow this a little bit. 304 results. Now, I'm connected to a bunch of those people because I used to be pretty active in our local chamber. I don't want her. The first degree connections are people I already know. Here's second degree connections, right? These are people Nancy knows that I don't already know. So now we're down to 225 people. Gosh, maybe I just want to know the C-suite people, right? So 58 of those connections of hers are C-suite individuals. Now, if I'm targeting executives, I can say, hey, Nancy, old buddy, old pal, how's things at the chamber? By the way, who is Robin Marcus? Should I know Robin Marcus? I don't know, Proud Mama Photography. That might not be the right one, but maybe Mary Jo Allen, the chief nurse at Halifax Health, the big medical center here, would be a really good person for me to know. Right. So I can ask for that introduction directly from Nancy. Anyway, didn't realize, Susan, that I was not sharing my screen there for a second. So let me give you let me give you host back, and then you can jump on to the next slide.
Okay.
Give me one sec here. Make host. There you go. Very cool. Susan, you should be good to go.
Is that right? Does that look good?
Yeah. So I had seven questions pop up, Susan, in the Q&A. It was a whole bunch of people saying, Charlie, I can't see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So Charlie just did a brilliant job touching on LinkedIn. Okay. So, and then there's the direct mail and the other methods that I was talking about. You definitely want to have your website dialed in. However, once you really refine your brand, then, there's different events that you can do on a micro level. There's Charlie hosts some really cool, like this, right? Through LinkedIn, he attracts people to events, and he can do this for you too, so that you're talking with your ideal clients, and having the opportunity to share how you can help them and how you stand out in all of this. So definitely connect with him on that. However, on the micro level event, special events, if you know that you're working, whether you're working with, millennials or Gen Z or business owners and executives or women, women entrepreneurs, wherever you want to focus, you can put together a special event that can be small. You could start with one client and have them invite a friend or a couple of friends, or you could put together 5 clients and have each of them invite a friend. You get the vibe. However, in those events, that can be a great time to do something fun with them and to support the opportunity to really just get to know them and network. And then by the end of it, hopefully, you'll be in a position to find out if they'd like to meet with you. And a good way to do that is once your friends get you the contact information of the people that they're going to bring, and when you're asking your clients, who are hopefully your friends, okay, to bring folks to the event, you want to share with them, hey, I'm looking to grow my business, and I would love, you're one of my favorite clients. I would love the opportunity to meet with, any of your friends who you think would benefit from, my services as well. And so, I'm having this, golf event, this high tea, this outing to a museum. It's whatever you want to do, a dinner, lunch. And, I'd really enjoy the opportunity to meet, a friend or two of yours who you think would benefit from, our conversation. So that's one way you can go there. And then all of the rest of these, you can look down the road when it's right timing, when you've integrated the initial ones that everybody needs to be doing. Then you can look, at what's your bandwidth, who's on your team, who do you want to outsource to get other things in place when you're ready to take your marketing to a different level. Okay. And now in terms of developing your $1 million marketing plan and beyond, you want to have a plan that supports your 90-day goals. I find that as human beings, we get highly distracted. We can think about our annual goals, but usually as something happens in life, then our brains jump into our business or whatever's happening, and we might not take stock of those goals till the end of the year again. So with a 90-day plan in place, with, your marketing channels that you're prioritizing, with weekly, daily tasks for each channel, that'll keep you and your team focused on what you want to have happen every step of the way. And that'll support you in getting closer to your goals and beyond. Okay. This is, an example of a plan that I use in my FAST program. And so you can create something like this with your 3 annual goals on top, and then 90-day goals within each channel, so that you can really commit to something that feels doable and that you want to move forward and that you have the resources to move forward. And that's the way you're going to see results. Okay. And then from there, in terms of getting it done fast, you want to create your uniquely branded system. You want to craft that $1 million marketing strategy with your marketing plan. And all of that will support you in ultimately achieving your business goals. At this point, I love to jump in and talk a little bit about my FAST program. It stands for the Financial Advisor Success Training Program. And I designed this business development program for financial advisors out of all the work that I had done with advisors previously. It's like, now is the time to refine your brand, to polish your marketing, and improve your sales skills to really reach your growth goals. And I've spent 20 years compiling industry best practices and cutting edge resources, which were previously only available to my more highly invested private coaching clients. And through the FAST program, I provide these game-changing business growth strategies exclusively to financial advisors who are committed to accelerating their business growth. And we'll work together to grow your book of business. I'll walk you through how to build a strong personal brand, how to increase your visibility and credibility in the marketplace, how to create a personalized 90-day sales plan, how to create a steady flow of ideal clients, develop consistent referrals from clients and strategic partners that you've been wanting, and help you streamline your process for generating leads in any economic climate and sustain your growth for years to come. During the pandemic, when it first hit, I had folks who were scrambling, like everybody was scrambling to some degree as we were learning to, get on Zoom and adapt to technology and all of that. However, one of the clients that I'd worked with, she brought on 50 ideal clients over the first year of the pandemic because she'd stayed in front of all of her prospects consistently and her clients. And so she was getting referrals. They were just sending her people, their friends who were stressed out, and because her clients were confident they were getting good service. And so her referral machine was on steroids during that time, as well as the referrals coming from not financial services professionals, but our allied professionals, that she was working with, the CPAs, the attorneys. And so, you want to get everything in place for you so that regardless of what's happening in the economy or the market, you're set up to have plenty of ideal clients coming in at all times so that you're in a more sustainable place for yourself and you're able to be happier and more relaxed in your business as well. So with that, why don't I share with you what's included in the FAST program? Okay, I've got a state-of-the-art online academy with 5 modules that really walk you through each step of, creating your vision, developing and fine-tuning your brand, getting your marketing strategy in place, including your marketing plan, up-leveling your marketing skills, and really closing the gap with your client conversion process there for ultimate growth. So you have access to all of that. And then I have 2 different options. You can join with either a live group call. If you have a team, you can work privately with myself or one of my coaches. And also there's a self-paced program too, that gives you access to all of the keys to the kingdom, the videos, the workbooks, the scripts, and everything. And those are typically people who do real well with that are self-starters. They know themselves. They're really good about blocking out time, sticking with it. They're committed to moving it forward, and they implement on their own. For probably 90% of us, we do much better with an accountability system in place, with coaching to get our questions answered, and to fine-tune our system so that we're being supported in an empowering way moving forward each step of the way. Okay. And then just a couple of examples. One of the senior level advisors, I think I spoke to you about this one previously, brought in 40 million. Another one brought in 50 million during the program in AUM. And really the key there for these senior level people was in refining their brand, their brand strategy, their communication strategy with their clients, their prospects, and their centers of influence to just support the momentum kicking up with the introductions that they were receiving. Here is Lucas, and he's a VP at EP Wealth Advisors. And when he was in the FAST program, he just recently graduated. His goal was to attract 5 ideal clients so that he could get promoted to VP, and he did just that. During the program, he honed in on who his ideal client was. He was passionate about the group of people that he was serving, and he was really excited about sharing that message with existing clients who were in that niche, as well as others. And he really revved up his professional referral channel during that time too. And as a result, checked the box, reached the goal. So if this is of interest to you, if you'd like support growing your business and fast, if you'd like to participate in the program or receive some coaching, give me a call. You can reach out to me or send me an email, or just schedule a call today on the link there, susandanzig.com/breakthrough. And I'd be happy to learn more about you and your business and what your vision of success is, and just discuss whether or not I might be able to provide a resource to support you in getting there faster.
Susan, can you talk a little bit about cost?
Yeah.
We've got our guest Candace is asking about cost.
Sure. Well, it depends is the answer. It depends on which way you want to go. If you want private coaching, if you want to do it yourself, the self-paced starts at $3,500. And that gives you a year access to the program materials, to the videos. I'll also add a strategic planning call with you, with myself, to support you with getting your final questions answered and really setting you up to win in your business growth process there. In terms of the private coaching, we can discuss that offline. It depends, is it just you? Do you want to have a team fast program in your organization? Just depends on how it would look. And happy to discuss that with you as well.
Wonderful. And
from there, what I'd invite you to do, though, regardless, is take my Financial Advisor Success Quiz. You can reach it at financialadvisorsuccessquiz.com. It's free. It takes about 4 minutes. It's an online assessment to really look at 7 areas of your business development strategy. And you'll rate yourself on a scale between 0 and 10, 10 being like, okay, you've got this part nailed down, and, or 0, like you really want to learn about this area so that you can integrate it, and maybe many places in between. So typically once people take it, they go, okay, now I realize where the gap is and where I really want to dive in to see results be enhanced. And other people say, hey, it's a great reminder to know that I am on track. I'm doing what I need to do. So wherever you're at is perfect. You'll receive a report of the assessment once you complete it, so that you'll see kind of where you're at in all of those areas. So I'd invite you to take it today while you're thinking about it. And then if you'd like to reach out for a call, you can do that as well. And we can align calendars to discuss where you'd like to see your results enhanced. And so with that, do you have any other questions at this point?
Susan, awesome. I mean, really, really good job. And for everybody who hung in there over the time, thank you for doing that. This is one of the byproducts of us being talkative, and that's great. But also, what do we have? A dozen or so questions. That's awesome interaction from the audience. So I'm going to, not that I put a slide together, Susan, but those of you who are interested in having success with content marketing on LinkedIn, go check out a website called Social Post Party. And what it is it's a hack. We'll say that. I'm not afraid to admit, but it's Social Post Party is a community of content creators working together to get mass exposure for their content. Now, there is a subscription to be involved. It is highly effective for making sure that your content's seen by 500%, 1,000%, sometimes 1,500% more people. It's just you working within a community to comment on others' content. They're going to do the same for you. And then LinkedIn's algorithm is tipped off to the quality of your content, puts it in front of a much larger audience. So social post party, 30 days free. There's your promo code to try it for 30 days without any commitment to it. So it's a cool tool. And of course, if you want to learn more about me, if you don't already know me, a lot of you here, we've worked together in various capacities. So thank you for that. Check out social-advisors.com.
Awesome. And one more thing I'll share. It is Valentine's Day. And so I'm going to share the love. And what that means is for anybody interested in participating in a program, I will give you a $500 discount. If you reach out to me today, and you can put in the subject line, you can either reach out with a phone call or schedule a call to talk to me, but send me an email at susan@susandanzig.com and say, just put Charlie's introduction through the webinar in the subject line, and I'd be happy to give you a $500 savings on your investment in yourself and the growth of your business.
I might take you up on that one.
Okay.
Susan, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody who attended, and of course, at the top of the hour, we had a little bit drop off for people having to go to other meetings and whatever. But really, honestly, I say it on the podcast a lot. I mean it sincerely. Time is something you cannot make more of, right? So the fact that you're taking time to spend it with Susan and I, very, very grateful for that. I hope you got some good value out of the webinar. If you've got suggestions, of course, we're easy people to find. So I'd love that feedback so we can continue to make these programs stronger for you. And Susan Danzig, my friend, thank you so much for taking your time and donating your wisdom to this group of attendees and to me.
Well, thanks for having me here. It was a pleasure to be here today. And I just invite everybody to stay in touch and connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'll look forward to talking with you real soon.
All right, cool. Thank you, Susan. Have a great afternoon.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
You too.
Take good care. Bye-bye.